And so if you only give a whitelist, if you create a whitelist where only certain news places or certain blogs, even like Medium writers, can post there, then you're really shifting the narrative. I just don't like censorship.
Hey everyone, today I have a very distinct pleasure again, as always, to speak to the one, the only Omar Bham of Crypto's News. How's it going, Omar?
It's going great. What's going on, Joel? It's good to see you, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And thank you very much for having a clean setup, high video quality and high audio quality, which is, you know, after Andreas Brecken's pixelated thing outside on his front porch, this is a good change. So thanks again for that.
Yeah, I totally get it. Sometimes, yeah, that's a scary thing with doing interviews online. The other person might have just the, and it's for the viewer, right? You want to give them good content, and it sucks when it's like on their phone. Or I tried to do a CoinMarketCap interview last week, and with Luke Vogman, and his internet just crapped out in Vegas. He actually flew over here to LA. I was like, "What are you doing?" He flew over here to do it live, so we made it look good. So I'm happy to do that for you, Joel.
One of my first interviews I did was with a fellow in the remote northwestern regions of Ghana, and that was a little bit of a hard one, but we still got something out of it. But anyway, enough about me. You've come to the spotlight recently because of a certain online, specifically Reddit-based censorship that happened that affected you specifically, but a lot of people, and you've sort of led the charge to a certain extent in speaking out against this. So first I want to let people know who you are and what you do, just so they have the context of this whole conversation.
Sure. So my name's Omar. I've been using crypto since 2012, Bitcoin to buy supplements overseas for discounts. And in 2015, I'd been investing for a little bit. I saw a good opportunity to get into Bitcoin. I didn't really understand it as far as what it could really be doing. But like with every other thing I was investing in, I was doing a lot of research, and it just led me down the rabbit hole like everybody else. So eventually I heard about Ethereum, and I was extremely excited about its potential with smart contracts, decentralized applications that were censorship resistant, just like Bitcoin's money remittance opportunities. And so I started mining Ethereum, and that was fun, you know, building a rig over the course of months, and just like first testing it out on my gaming computer, because I've been a gamer my whole life. And I think that's partly what made it easier for me to begin mining in the beginning, is that I've been building computer, messing around with hardware, buying toys and gadgets. And so to me, it was just fun to add more GPUs, graphics processors, to mine more Ether every day. And it was kind of an addiction. So eventually I had just so many ideas from all the research, and I'd been following Amanda Johnson, who used to create content for cryptocurrency news, actually very similar to what I do now, which is have a daily news show, at least Monday through Friday. I'm trying to pace myself better than every single day, 3 videos a day, as I did in the beginning, which, you know, can be really taxing. So I definitely matured a bit in that regard. But yeah, I started talking about mining, tutorials, hardware wallets, the best way to, the best exchanges, the best tools, the best, you know, all sorts of stuff. While the news was always that when there's nothing else just raging in my mind to talk about, I would talk about the news. So it's a vlog, news channel, interviews, everything else, pretty much what I do now.
So is that like what you do as a grown-up person job?
As a grown-up person job, yeah, it definitely doesn't pay the bills as much as many people would think, because I don't do ad spots nearly as frequently as other YouTubers do. I could probably name them all in my hand since 2016 when I went full-time here. I used to work in hotels. So I used to work in fine dining. I worked in 2 of the leading hotels of the world. There's only 4 places in Miami that were rated Forbes 5-star. So it was very hard. I did that for years, and it was 127 standards you have to follow, from when the person is sat at the table to guiding them through an experience, creating a menu through them, understanding wine pairings, understanding exactly how the wine is sourced, learning everything about sake, the small vineyards and families that create the drinks that we have. So for me, that was great. It was a great opportunity to grow as an adult and to, you know, understand how to treat people better. And I think that definitely transfers over to how I've kind of ran my channel. It's an experience I'm trying to create for people. Definitely want to entertain them as well as keep them involved and engaged with what I think is an amazing, obviously, I mean, if you're following this right now, I'm sure you understand just the potentials that crypto have for inviting people into the economy. I was talking about the unbanked and how this is going to allow for more human capital production to add to the world, right? So many people are living outside of banking, and there's just there's a lot of
guilty as charged, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, I'm also an actor. So I'm doing acting every single week. I used to have an agent in Miami. And so I moved to Los Angeles to open up my horizons. Because in Miami, it's mostly just commercial work. And I really didn't feel like shilling somebody's products. Funny enough, you'd think that's what YouTubers do. But I just liked real moments with people. So I wanted to do movies. I wanted to do what I'd studied. I have a degree in theater, BFA. But I had gone through a very serious breakup during my college years, which led to extreme depression to the point of like, like if I was a weaker person, I would have like committed suicide, like physical pain in my body. And that's kind of how I got into supplements and researching nootropics, which are things that help your brain learn, because I wanted to build new habits and just, always keep pushing the edge. And so I found this one called CMAX, which it's a Russian nootropic. And this one, suddenly I started caring about finance. That's how I got into investing and just like looking at numbers and all that, where you would think a theater person, which would be the case, wouldn't really care about money that much. I just kind of floated by and lived for the moment for sure. So, yeah, I'm still pursuing acting. I'm a pianist, a musician on the side as well, just for fun. I've been doing that since I was 12 and just keeping, I'm trying to live a life and not just tie myself into a specific label and say that's all you do. I'm a miner, I'm a trader, I'm a YouTuber, I'm a content creator. I can be a journalist, whatever you want to call it. But like most of us, I think putting a label on yourself is just so limiting.
So trying to extract any kind of something that people would consider an income from just shooting the shit about crypto on YouTube sounds like one of the most painful processes I can imagine. Like I already know, just from like our perspective with Dash News, where we get paid to do a whole bunch of stuff. One of the things is maintain news and content, and just trying to get that out there to people, just trying to get eyeballs on it is a struggle without having that eyeballs in a way that it can kind of keep feeding me directly as a direct consequence, not as an indirect consequence. So can you explain some of the struggles you've been through trying to make that work, and some of the stuff that's gotten in your way of trying to get that kind of a setup to actually work?
Yeah, so that's super loaded. So obviously marketing is important, and especially when every single day there are more people getting involved in the space, more journalists, more content creators. It's like, how do I stay relevant? How do I keep eyes on my stuff? So in the beginning, for me, a big one was posting on Reddit, just like posting on various crypto Reddits, and they were very open back then. Like you could just post and people could say what they wanted and upvote, and you wouldn't really get your content deleted for the most part. And so that was great for starting off my show and just getting a lot of the initial people who, pretty much a lot of people who were into crypto were on Reddit. That was a big source before Twitter's blown up a lot more since then. We have to wonder why. I'm sure we could explore that. Like, for example, the ability to create your own feed. On Twitter, you can block whoever you don't like. So you can kind of create your own echo chamber, for example. Where on Reddit, you can't necessarily do that to the same extent.
Yeah,
and
are you part of the Blocked by Blockstream Club?
I'm not. I don't think so.
Oh,
What is
that's
that?
so easy to do. Just so many people have been blocked by the official Blockstream Twitter account. I tweeted something in dissent of something they said one time, and then they blocked it. And that's like, okay, they're super, super sensitive, but that's fine. But some other people I know have just been blocked by Blockstream who have no idea, they never interacted with the account, just like, and they're a nobody. It's not like a Roger Ver or someone who's like known, just like a random small person. So
weird.
Hey, you gotta work on that. Tweet something about like, I remain skeptical that off-chain scaling can be the ultimate solution for Bitcoin, at least in its current form. Just tweet that at Blockstream, that'll do it.
yeah, for sure. I've been blocked by Craig Wright for just one tweet. The first time I ever talked about him.
Yeah, well, he blocked himself though, so he's gone.
Oh, yeah. Now he's gone. So I think the first stint that so my Reddit inbox was like nasty. It was a place that I never wanted to visit to actually see comments about the videos I was posting, because it was just nasty. People don't like a new player. You're just a scammer. You're just a shill. You're somebody who doesn't know anything. If I went back
beyond that, what's wrong with your face?
Yeah, what's wrong with your face? You're just a talking head. That's all you. That was my favorite. That was a constant one, talking head. Yeah, or why are you driving your car? Why are you making videos in your car? Like, dude, it's ton amount. Like I'm not holding my phone while doing it and staring at it. I'm only like looking maybe during a red light real quickly.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to take financial advice from the guy who drives dangerously and endangers everyone around him.
Yeah, or who's an actor? He's just an actor. He's just an actor. Like we can't learn outside of what schooling tells us. A whole other topic.
Definitely, I've experienced the same thing. The same
Yeah.
inbox dread on Reddit, because the first thing that we did is for Dash Force, before we got into the news game, even was counter trolling, where we just people trolling on Reddit and Twitter and everywhere else, just respond to them and say, well, that's actually not true. This is here how it is, or just stuff like that, and then just like, yeah, of course your page show would say that. And
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, in a way, it makes me wish I took more ads just so I could continue to be transparent with each one and be like, this is sponsored, and it would become like, okay, this guy does sponsored content, but he always says it, so they don't have a reason to say you're just a shill, implying you're taking money without telling people. But which I don't do for sure, and I've never done. Besides ethical reasons, which I guilt myself enough and shame myself, as I think most of us do. But definitely because we've heard from the regulators, that's not a nice thing for the YouTubers to be doing. Floyd Mayweather, DJ Khaled, these guys got taken down so hard for not talking about the scope of their investments. These are things that have to be done.
Did Katy Perry get roasted for Monero nails?
I think so. I don't know if she got penalized for that financially, but yeah. So then I remember I was super into Bitcoin way before Ether, and I'd followed the block scaling debate for a while, and just whether you could talk about bigger blocks, smaller blocks, what is best for financial inclusion, what is best technically, what is best for your hard drive, what is best as the blockchain expands into the future. And really, just to me, it was nice. It was nice to get into those, to really look at reasonable responses to that. But a lot of it turned out, and it continues to be, ad hominem attacks, and they attack people rather than ideas. And it got to the point where I remember I made a video, it was an early video, and I talked about that debate, and I posted it to the Bitcoin Reddit, as I often did, because I just spammed every Reddit, BTC, Bitcoin, everywhere, cryptocurrency, because nobody knew who I was anyway, and my inbox was so nasty that it was just like, I'm going to spam it everywhere I can until whatever, I get banned if you want to ban.
Did you ever throw it onto our buttcoin?
No, I never actually. I don't think I've ever posted an Bitcoin. Is it popular still?
I know the Twitter account is pretty popular, especially now that it kind of has this dance with Bitfinex, and they kind of play off each other. And I have about like a 30 to 40% agreeal rate with our Bitcoin Twitter, which is hilarious, because that's mostly it's just like, come on, you're just a salty nonsense. But then I'm like, well, there is that.
Yeah, and our Bitcoin is the one that's always just nasty toward Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, it used to be satirical, and now it's just like abusive.
Yeah. Funny how that goes. Yeah. So yeah, my video on Bitcoin, our Bitcoin, was deleted, and it wasn't deleted because I was spamming anything, because I still would engage when I could, but it was just deleted. And I was banned. I was banned for, I think, 30 days the first time, which wasn't like a permanent ban, but it's still a ban. And it was like, it wasn't anything other than me just trying to share my ideas on what the difference might be between a bigger blocks and smaller blocks, Bitcoin Classic, Bitcoin Unlimited, and Bitcoin Core's software at the time. So to me, that was like the first hint that you shouldn't be talking about these things, where people say you shouldn't be talking about these things. It slowly began to be the case. And the RBTC Reddit kind of has now become the Bitcoin Cash Reddit, just because of the evolution of where we've gone here, where really what Bitcoin Cash wanted to do was just allow for bigger blocks and a forum for that to happen. I'm not going to get into the history of how that went down, because that could take forever. But yeah, it's just like, it's become where Reddit was like, Bitcoin Reddit should be for Bitcoin, whether you're talking about the community, the software, the tools, the websites, journalism, or whatever. You should be able to talk about whatever. And I do feel that the community has the ability to upvote and downvote content. That's why we have the upvote and downvote buttons, not so the moderators can just pigeonhole the whole space into just one perspective of what is right. Like, Bitcoin is small blocks, and this was before the hard fork actually happened. We should have been able to have these discussions on the official Bitcoin Reddit. So I don't know. I don't. That bummed me, man. Like, it should be an open forum, and I fully believe that. That's one thing. That's a major one. And then me specifically as a content creator, I've Google has so much influence in our content when we're posting on Google because it's all on an algorithm. So if YouTube's algorithm doesn't like your channel, then people aren't going to find your content as easily on YouTube or Google searches, which is where most searches happen. So I think like 46% of my views, I was just looking at some analytics this week, come because YouTube recommended my content. But for whatever reason, if Google decided they didn't like my content or they didn't like crypto content in general, that would be a kind of censorship too. And that's because I'm on their centralized platform.
Which, by the way, that has happened before to other, I wouldn't say, they're not even YouTubers, but I know a couple of companies that distribute crypto content. And I was like, wow, this is a fantastically well-produced like segment, a very accurate research segment, and it has 12 views. Why? And it's like, and then I remember sharing the specific video because it had a lot to do with Dash. I was on one of them too, all over the place, and it got just tons and tons of like social media views and stuff, but then got like 300 views, and then before you know it, it was 30 views. I'm like, wait, where did that come from? So this is not affecting you, but I'm not trying to do a foreboding here, but like you're probably okay, but it does happen to people.
Yeah, but well, this is one thing that happened at Consensus 2017. I had done a bunch of content inside, interviews inside of the New York Marquis Hotel where this was taking place. And I was on the road back to the airport. I was about to fly back to LA, and it's a long flight. There's transfers. I was tired, and I got an email from the head of strategy at Coindesk, I'm sorry, which runs the conference, Consensus Conference. DCG is kind of the parent company of all these guys. And so I got an email saying I needed to remove all content immediately, cease and desist from YouTube. That was basically it. So I was like, okay, so like I can sit there and fight them with lawyers or email them back. And they were basically saying I didn't have the right to be producing content there, which, by the way, I had checked all of their terms and conditions on their website. It said nothing about I couldn't record or that I had to give them credit or anything, which I did. I said I was at the conference, and obviously that's free marketing for them. They later actually changed the terms and conditions. So they took down their site and uploaded it again, and they added terms saying you couldn't record stuff after the fact. So anyway, I didn't want to have to deal with that. I'm not a big fan of like wasting time actually in court fighting futile fights. So I'm just like, okay, I'll delete it when I get back home.
What you're saying is you're not Craig Wright.
I'm not Craig Wright. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got it. Mm-hmm. So I basically, my flight got delayed. I was on a plane. My transfer got delayed. I finally got to LA like at 3 a.m. And I had left like 24 hours before that from New York. And I was tired. I went to sleep. I woke up at 8 a.m, like might have been 8 or 11. It's actually in the video. They've done videos about this, so I don't want to misspeak. I think it might have been 11. I was tired. Anyway, so I wake up and I had 2 copyright strikes on my channel. So they had filed copyright strikes. And if you get 3 strikes, you can no longer put content. Your YouTube channel gets deleted by YouTube. So they claimed that they owned all the work there. I wasn't allowed to put that up to YouTube. And the first reaction from YouTube is to just impact the content creator. So they don't actually verify whether this is true or not. You have to, I guess, prove your own innocence. I did submit a claim, an appeal, but obviously they were going to win here because it was their conference or whatever. They have more proof that they had rights to the data. They had changed their website. So basically I got 2 strikes. If I would have gotten another one, if they had been that insane to give me a third one so they only flagged 2 videos, but forced me to take down the rest, which is what I did in the morning. Anything that had to do with Coindesk, which in a way is censorship, right? Because then that history is deleted. And those perspectives I had put up are gone forever. Anyway, so I couldn't live stream for 3 months, directly impacted my revenue because I get, donations in real time, super chats on YouTube. People can join my news streams. And so that was terrible. It kind of made me create a new YouTube channel. So I started a second YouTube channel directing people there in case I had lost that channel. But it sucks because that's my main channel. That's where I have my views. That's where my business is at because I had quit my job after moving to LA in fine dining and just the service industry because it was wrecking my body. And I don't think it's good for anybody to do for very long. But anyway, yeah, that was interesting for me. And so Google has so much clout, man. And just another thing, last week, I found out PlayStation had banned my Sony account because of some funny business. Somebody had stolen, I guess, my password. They refunded a game I had bought and bought a separate game called Hitman 2. And I don't know what they did with that game. They sent it somewhere else. And so I remember trying to play Kingdom Hearts, which I had purchased from Sony, and be like, oh, I haven't played this in a while. It came out like in April. Let me just try to play it. And it was locked. I couldn't open it up. I no longer had the license to the game. So I tried to contact Sony. They had like a 4-hour wait time. And so I just went straight to PayPal. I said, I bought this game, $60. I don't have the license for it. After 30 days, I got my money back, $60 from PayPal. Then PlayStation banned my account. And I guess it was because I had gone through PayPal for that. But was interesting. Yeah, but I learned a lesson, because if you buy digital content on PlayStation and you're not buying the physical copies, you can't even play single player. You can't play single player. You get access to none of your subscriptions, none of your games, or any of that, because you're buying it digitally through their space. So I'm going to be buying physical copies. Yeah, it's a good lesson there.
So with the whole Reddit thing, recently, for those who have not been aware, our cryptocurrency, the main cryptocurrency subreddit, decided to throw down a ban basically on all unapproved content. It's done through like a whitelist, and they've since backtracked a little bit, or we experimented and this is what we found. We kind of nonsense. But I'll give you my context. That was one of the first places that we ran into problems with Dash. Obviously all the hostile subreddits, everything. You post on something on our Monero, and they always hated the Dash people. Of course, you're not going to go into the Viper's nest, right? But our Bitcoin, it's altcoin. Who cares? Our BTC, they kind of didn't care that much. You could post it. So our cryptocurrency, I found out that every Dash related post was instantly downvoted to 0, instantly. And I personally verified a few from just various. Just knowing who is on it. Some of the posts got over 30 upvotes in a short period of time, and just doesn't matter, 0. Just boom. It would all, and based on posting times, we get a certain time. Oh yeah, we got it. Hey, it's at 15 upvotes. Hey, it's at 30. Wow, this is great. And then just like at some point, the farm wakes up. The guy with 1 million accounts wakes up and just boom, just hammers it down. And we went through that for a very long time. And then we'd find whenever there was a Monero post, it would get a mysterious average of 300 upvotes, 300 give or take a few, just boom, right away. And so clear vote manipulation we've had to deal with for years. This has been, I've been in the Dash world almost 3 years now. And it's been like the whole time it's been like that. It's gotten a little bit less overt over time, but it's still very overt. And then a bunch of the moderators, I recognize them as these angry troll accounts that had been yelling at us from, the Dash is a scam angle, who are also moderators of Monero subreddits. And they were all in our cryptocurrency, and we started to call them out for basically being extremely biased and partial. And then at one point they added one of our people as a moderator to try to say, no, look, we got a Dash moderator too. That lasted like a month, and then they just kicked him out. And now it's basically run by, I'm not sure, heavily Monero people, and among other things. And so now they specifically singled out Dash News as something that is not allowed to post there anymore, which, by the way, I believe we got something in this week now. They might have approved it or something after they specifically got called out about it. But how did that affect you? Because this is the Dash perspective. I'm just giving you the history on our side of this horrific place. And how did that end up bumping into you?
Oh, man. Well, it's similarity, same thing. Well, first of all, just thinking about it all, the cryptocurrency subreddit was kind of a joke before 2017. Like, it was empty, it was dead, there was nobody posting. If you wanted to research a specific coin, you went to that subreddit for that coin. That's just what you did. And the Bitcoin Reddit had more clout, ETH Trader, Ethereum, BTC. The Dash Pay Reddit. These are like places that I went to individually. There were not that many people who were, I guess, really involved deeply, OGs, you could call them, that would visit the cryptocurrency Reddit. But it got to the point where we have all these coins being created for whatever reason in 2017 that we needed a place to go to, especially newbies, where they could learn about every individual coin. But I guess one of the first hints to me that this place was just, there was something off about it, was that Rayblocks was the most talked about coin and the most upvoted coin at the time, which eventually became Nano. It's like, what is
banned that? I can't remember. They might have banned all posts on that coin. That's what they did, by the way, is, and might not be, I think that was due to the community itself doing a concentrated like content effort, just like, but the thing is, instead of just saying, okay, we're going to deal with manipulation, they're just like, oh, this is a popular coin, even if it's artificially popular, we're going to just ban it.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is strange, because you'll see like what is popular and what's not, and it's definitely manipulated, because you'll see a trending thing on top. And some of these coins I don't think were the best for people who are getting started, but it goes to show the power, because so many people now find the cryptocurrency Reddit as their main source for information. And so if you only give a whitelist, if you create a whitelist where only certain news places or certain blogs, even like Medium writers, can post there, then you're really shifting the narrative. Especially, I think you uncovered, like you were saying right now, that one of the cryptocurrency mods is a Monero mod. So you actually like dislikes Dash. So you're definitely putting bias in, and that was an article that you had done about it. You put
I know that guy SGP, Galaxy player, for a long time, and like I've seen mean things he said. Like, it's not just like disagreement stuff or, well, that's not true, but he's been persistently trolling, and whenever someone says anything about Dash that's negative, he's always sharing it everywhere around. He's gone into our Slack channel before, like snuck in 10, and then started like doing intel research, and then when he got found out, like, he ended up rage quitting. And like there's a lot of history behind this one individual. He runs like the Monero outreach stuff too, which, you know, and the thing is, I know the Monero community has gotten a lot better these days. There's still a bunch of the old guard who just, you know, aren't the nicest people, but it's not as nearly a problem. Just there's some of those old holdouts. Yeah,
and they remember.
Oh, I remember too. I don't ever forget.
That's great. But if you're running like, I understand the need for moderation, right? There are straight up referral accounts being spammed, Binance referral accounts. I ran a 100,000 person Facebook group, so I totally get the need for having some moderation. Just clean moderation. Don't be threatening people's life. Do not be bullying people repeatedly, like after a warning. Do not, just be normal. Just be normal. Do not be a spam. Do not be a purpose bot. Like, these things should be found out. I don't think that's appropriate for that. But you should be able to discuss whatever, or allow journalists to post whatever. And so if you're going to have mods, you need to have objective mods. You can't have somebody who really only thinks Monero is the best coin ever, as far as privacy at least, or dislikes a specific coin for his own personal reasons, as a moderator, as when there are few moderators out there, and the ability to delete and like post wantonly.
So you got banned here, right?
On the cryptocurrency Reddit?
Yeah.
I didn't get banned. No, the whitelist upset me, because basically,
so to clarify, you didn't get actually caught in the whitelist. You just saw the whitelist and it made you upset.
Yeah, I just don't like censorship.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
That's what it is.
In crypto, that should be a very reasonable point of view.
Yeah, I was not, as far as I know, maybe I was, because I started a new subreddit, Crypto's News, CRYPT0S News. And thanks again for the shout out in that article. Just mainly because of that, because of my experiences with the Bitcoin Reddit and the BTC Reddit, and now what I'm seeing with the whitelist for the cryptocurrency Reddit, which should be a public forum that's open, and seeing now even more seeing what happened with you guys and Dash and Monero, and thinking about that, how specific publications for one coin are not going to be allowed. Only certain voices are going to be allowed to be heard. And you had a good point when we were talking before we started this stream, which is about what journalism is. So what's your definition of journalism, and why is that important, Joel? Actually, I'll ask you, since you kind of explained it really well, and then I have my own point on that.
Yes, I would say, so let me spend a little bit longer and then give a really quick definition. Yeah. Not very much longer. My view, what journalism is so there's facts out there. So many things that are true that are facts. If you just vomit the facts onto a page, no one knows anything. No one has any idea what's going on. Just post source documents, post everything. All this. no one understands it, right? So there's a reason why journalism, you say you do a news story, because you're telling a story. You're taking the facts. That's what you have to work with. You don't have fiction to work with. You can't just say what you want. You take what is sourceable, what is facts, and then you craft a narrative, a story. So people say like, well, okay, I see all that, but what basically happened? Well, Tether got cracked down on by this because they had this, and this is that, and this is the context, this is the implications. And there's no such thing as objective news, because that doesn't, by definition, you're excluding some kind of information for brevity's sake or for whatever. There is no such thing. What there is fair news, or unbiased or relatively unbiased, to where you can say, all right, they didn't say this, they didn't say that, but what they did say, that is a pretty fair assessment of the situation, that even if your enemy says like, oh, well, I can't poke holes in that. Nothing he said was factually incorrect, and nothing he said was an unfair representation of the facts. So basically, news is condensing facts by going to the sources into a digestible, understandable narrative.
And do you feel that you do that with
Yes.
your news?
I feel I do that, and I feel that we have a clear angle, right? We're talking about Dash mostly, and we're talking about we're talking about Dash mostly from the perspective of a Dash reader. Okay, someone who cares about Dash is going to want to read this. So we tell it how they would want to hear it, but that also means, in those restrictions, even if we're talking about something that's inconvenient, we have to make sure that the enemies can't really poke holes in it, because then we're unfair. We're completely just being salty shills or whatever. We're not actually telling the news. We're doing PR. And that's a constant not constant, it's occasional struggle that I have to have with the rest of the community that doesn't understand the journalism thing. They're just like, well, you didn't chill hard enough or whatever. It's like, yeah, I have to walk that very fine line to make sure that I'm catering to the bosses, the network, but at the same time, I'm not putting out PR, putting out news, journalism.
That's great. And that was part of the rules of the whitelist, is that you have to be, first of all, a credible news source that's going off sources, isn't extremely biased. So the way you're approaching it from the fact and then creating a narrative is the same thing these other journalists are doing. Maybe you're not talking about every coin, but maybe how it specifically relates to Dash you are, if a coin does in a certain way. It bums me that they're saying, for example, one other thing was, we will approve very few YouTube blogs or blogs in general. But you look at the list, at the whitelist, and it's like, there are just certain names that are friends or people who are known already. But what about the great names who are yet to come? The great journalists who are doing great journalist work that aren't going to be able to post on the cryptocurrency Reddit because of your strict rules.
It's literally all our friends.
Yeah, and then the YouTubers who do great video work, and I'm excluding myself there. I'm just saying people who actually do deep diligence and source work, and they have interesting interviews that people want to watch. How come they can't post content that will expand on the experience someone has in the cryptocurrency space on the cryptocurrency Reddit? That bums the crap out of me.
Absolutely.
And I don't know what the solution is to that, but I'm trying to find it. Maybe it was my subreddit. Maybe it's something else yet to come. I think that'll be the case. Maybe it's crypto Twitter, but I just don't know. It's just the problem that needs to be fixed.
Well then, let's direct everyone to reddit.com/r/cryptos news with O as a 0.
Yeah.
That's a cryptocurrency subreddit started by you, moderated only based on don't be a piece of shit. Don't
threaten someone's life.
Basic human decency and threats.
Yeah.
And some other very loose rules. But other than that, just throw all your stuff there. It's free speech zone, which used to be there used to be t-shirts that have like the whole map of the US that just say this is my free speech zone and stuff. So
I like that.
That would be interesting if you just see like a visual representation of the internet, or like Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, whatever else, and just say this is my free speech zone.
That's cool. We're gonna have to get a logo one day.
We're gonna have to get that done. So as always, remember, life is a struggle, but freedom, which is what cryptocurrency is a war. And so we're always gonna have to be having some kind of a vigilance going on to make sure that the truth gets out there, because otherwise other stuff gets in there. So thanks a ton for your time here. We're going to get this spread far and wide. Keep doing what you're doing, and
Thanks.
Everyone go to Crypto's News, the subreddit, and
Thanks,
of course watch your channel.
Yeah, take care, guys. Thank you so much for having me, Joel, and everybody else for watching, and I'll catch you later.
Yep, see you guys.
Free speech.